go on to the tight ends for Week 14. We got our first one here is our boy Dawson Knox. Start that man. Dawson Knox just came. This is his year, isn't it? Unfortunately, he was injured for a couple weeks, but if Dawson Knox is out there, this is someone that I really like.
Yeah, I mean, Dawson Knox, maybe more of a obvious one of like, hey, I'm playing Dawson Knox, but, just kind of, reassuring your confidence in him, because he kind of came off a dud game last week, in the windy game, a little bit of rain or whatever it is on Monday night against the Patriots.
They threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, there was nobody was throwing the ball.
Yeah. But, yeah, this week I would feel 100% confidence having Knox in at the tight end position right here. I mean, the Bucs, they've allowed the 10th most receiving yards to the tight ends and the 3rd most receptions to the tight end position. This bodes well for Dawson Knox, especially when you look at this stat, hashtag interesting stat right here. Dawson Knox has the 3rd most end zone targets for tight ends. So end zone target obviously meaning a target where that player is in the end zone. He has 8 of them on the year, the 3rd most for the tight end position, and he missed 2 games. He only trails Mark Andrews and Hunter Henry in that category. So, when they get in close, they look for him. It's just a part of their offense. Josh Allen, when they get in close, he's looking for Dawson Knox, and he's got a ton of touchdowns on the year. I like for him to get back on track this week against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what could be a potential shootout between the GOAT Tom Brady and
the Bills
and the Bill Josh Allen.
It's weird. Like I know,
GOAT versus the Bill.
I know Brady's been on the Bucs for a while now, but it definitely does feel like they just played Brady last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that fuck with you too? It messes with me. I don't know. It is pretty interesting seeing all the Patriots fans, by the way, after the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see these Patriots jerseys popping up. People posting about the Patriots. Oh, hey, we're doing this. Oh, wow. Oh, you guys are alive. I was wondering where you went.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next tight end position. Next tight end at the tight end position. I don't know why I said that so weird, but the Las Vegas Raiders, Foster Moreau. Are you starting? I always never know how to say his last name, but are you starting Foster this week, Week 14?
Moreau, I believe.
Moreau.
Yeah. I
I always want to say Monroe, but then I know that's not what that says.
Foster Moreau.
Yeah.
Monroe.
It's not. There's no N, so it's like definitely.
Moreau.
Anyways,
yeah. So Foster Moreau, if that's how you say it. He was kind of the hot commodity last week. I feel like a lot of people were talking about him, like, "Oh, play Foster. No Darren Waldo, play Foster." And like some of these people that I was like, listening to or just kind of read articles, they were like, "Yeah, start him over this guy, start him over that guy." And in my head, I was thinking like, "Dude, but like we haven't seen it. Like you're gonna start him over guys who've proven it." And I think that's one reason why we didn't talk about him last week is because we didn't feel comfortable enough to throw him into our starts last week compared to everyone else, throwing him out there. And, he got you a dud. I mean, he only got you 1 catch for 34 yards on 3 targets last week against Washington. This week, though, we're talking about him. Feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more confident this week. That is if Darren Waldo doesn't play. Darren Waldo hasn't practiced Wednesday or Thursday yet, still dealing with the knee injury. I'm going to bank on the side that he doesn't come back. You don't want to rush him back. I would give him 1 more week to rest and recover. Darren Waldo, that is. So that would mean 1 more week for Foster Moreau. And it's a good matchup. The Chiefs are a bottom 10 defense in terms of defending the tight end position. I like Foster Moreau this week compared to last week where I did not.
And I will say that, the Chiefs. I mean, this is a game that could be a shootout. I know the last Chiefs game wasn't crazy high scoring, but it could be. This is a division game. I think they could definitely go back and forth.
I mean, don't quote me on this, but I feel like Derek Carr, as much as I don't think he's a good quarterback, I feel like he always plays really well, at least in the last couple years, against Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, like
they've beaten the Chiefs. Like they've been like, they've gone into Kansas City and like beat the Chiefs.
They beat the Chiefs week 1 last year.
So it's just like,
remember?
Yeah, it's just like I feel like he kind of gets up for these games. I don't know what it is, or I don't know. Sometimes it's just what it is. You're playing against a certain team. Just like you get more hyped to play against that team. Division game. That division is really tight over there with the AFC West. So, I mean, I think like outside of Hunter Renfrow. I mean, you got Bryan Edwards, you got Zay Jones, but like I'm not really worried about those guys, to be honest. So, yeah, I think Foster Moreau is a sneaky start this week at the tight end position. Like, for me personally, Logan Thomas in a couple leagues. He obviously hurts his knee. He's on the IR. And it's just the waiver wire is bleak. And it's just like, okay, like, do I go pick up Ricky Seals-Jones to recover him?
Right.
Cole Kmet's out there, which I think is another sneaky play. Foster Moreau's out there. And I'm just like, and like I said, as long as Darren Waldo doesn't play, yeah, I'm going to take my shot on Foster Moreau and just see what he could do here because I think he's got more upside compared to those other guys.
You're like,
okay.
Start that man, Foster Moreau, and then let's go on to the sit that boy. Hello there. Hey, listen, right now, I know we talk about him a lot, but Underdog Fantasy, it has a really good deal right now. It's a player pick'em app. It's a DFS app. It's very similar to DraftKings or FanDuel, but this is better. It's brand new, very easy to use interface. But if you download the app right now and use promo code AVG, they used to hook up with $10 with your first deposit. Right now, they're matching you up to $100. So if you put $100 in the app right now on your first deposit, you will get an extra $100 to play around with. They got player pick'ems. You can even do a private match inside Underdog Fantasy. It's pretty dope. So you can like challenge people and whatnot. You don't have to maintain a team for all year. So you can just draft your team, play that week, draft the next team next week. You could do it daily in like a Thursday night game as well. So go check it out. Tons of prizes. Free $100. Come on, sign up. It's the best. And use promo code AVG. Now back to your video. Tyler Higby? Question mark? Are we just constantly hating on Tyler Higby? Should we let up on this man? Because I do have him in a league, and I'm never like, yeah, Tyler Higby saved my week.
Yeah, I think I'm like, you'd probably think I'd hate Tyler Higby if you listen to me over the course of the
like he hooked up with your girl or something.
I just don't think he's a good fantasy tight end. I'm not saying he's not a good football player. Obviously, he's a starting tight end in the NFL, and he's making millions of dollars, so he's doing something right. So, kudos to him, and I think he's a good football player, but I don't think he's a good fantasy tight end. And I think it's like people still think of this image of that like crazy tail end year he had 2 years ago where he had like 100 yards receiving in like 4 or 5 games in a row, something crazy like that. And I feel like people still think of that. I'm like, oh, it's Tyler Higby, and like, oh, Stafford's so good, and like, this offense is so good, so like I'm gonna play the tight end on this offense. But it's like, dude, no, like Cooper Kupp is the go-to guy. Then you got Van Jefferson, who's emerging that we've been talking. We've been telling you guys about Van Jefferson for a while now.
And then they sign Odell.
Then you go get Odell Beckham. Then they like to run the ball on top of that, and it's like, so what is he, like the 5th option at best?
And sometimes they throw it to the right tackle.
So it's just like, yeah, I just don't like it. I mean, he's only had 10 or more PPR points once all season. I just don't know. I just don't see a high ceiling for this guy here. So I just never feel comfortable. I've never had him on any of my teams. But if I did, I just would never feel comfortable playing him because it's just there's just no upside here. It's like 3 for 34. I feel like is an average game for him. And if he doesn't get into the end zone, which he has only done 3 times this year,
would you play him or Schultz?
I think I'm gonna go Schultz.
How about him or Gerald Everett?
I think I'll go Higby over that one.
Yeah,
that one's pretty gross.
I'm just trying to put it in a perspective. That's all. Yeah, I was just thinking.
But like Cole Kmet, I'm playing Cole Kmet over him.
Nice. Yeah, Evan Ingram.
I'll play Evan Ingram over Higby.
Oh wow. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you. I'm not mad at it. Sit that boy. Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like